What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar. And did you hear the bell? That means it's Market Watch Friday, and so that we have a lot of good stuff to go over. And without further ado, let's dive into the video and talk about it. On from the finalists online championship, we are going to have a lot more of this coming through. I wouldn't be surprised if this only runs till February, maybe March for the regional events. So I don't expect this to stay much longer. So I do expect this to be kind of on the higher end. The reason for that, it's going to be a pricey card. And for that is, it is next to Impossible to get the champion. Finalist is the highest rarity. And the alternate art looks amazing. Paired to the pre-release stamp, this is your highest rarity. And, you know, finalists, you only get this in the top 32. If I remember correctly, only the finalists get in 32. So each event, there's only been 32 printed. So that's just something to think about. So that is very important. That's why it's kind of holding off in the high end. I don't recommend investing into it. Let it flood the market a bit. Let it creep down to maybe $40 to $50. The only thing I'm skeptical on is if they do more armor-based themes, because armor forms are very important, and that can lead to be some crazy shenanigans. And if that is the case, we could definitely see this card, as long as it's still good in the format, be played. On the Europe side, it's about 25 euros, which is 25 bucks, a little less than actually. I would just say about $24.50. I'll just knock off 50 cents. Because the euro is been on a down climb lately, and it's not even funny. Analog Youth is another card that just let it fall down. We rather have this not be overly expensive, and it's not really played much, maybe at one-of copies in certain decks, and it's not guaranteed to see play into BT, 10, BT 11. It is a good searcher. It does help out, but it's not always beneficial. The power behind it isn't always that great, so just let it fall down. I expect this thing to fall into the $50 range and hold there. 60 is a decent price marker right now, but I expect it to go down to 50. Europe side, we're looking at almost hitting down to the $42, $40 range. Not bad. Maybe we might see that, actually. So the Digimon Ragnarok starter deck set of 2. I think this is supposed to be that box set where you get the promo, Fly Bullet, the Judgment of the Blade, and then whatever that last card is that nobody really gives a flying hoot about. That one, what is it? Not the yellow one. I don't know. I'm not going to even spend time digging on that idea. So right now it's looking like $50 for the double. If this is supposed to be just the Jessamon and the Ragna starter decks as a 2-of, this is not worth the money. If this is the box that it is of, with the promos, and that's how this is being sold, then that $50 price is actually fair game. It's not overly priced. That's where it's expected to be in MSRP. So outside of that, that might be it. But if this is just 2 starter decks, don't waste your money. Right now, they did announce that the MSRP is going to be the normal price of like $13, $15. So let these fall down if that is the case. So starter deck Jessamon, originally when I thought they were $20, I thought it was a good investment. But because they are announced to be back into their normal pricing, expect this to drop extremely hard and let it fall down. I don't see any benefit in that, spending nearly an extra double box and you're only getting one. So definitely not worth it. Let it wait, let it fall down. Eismon Scatter Mode from Store Championship. We are getting the next wave of them to start showing up. So expect these to start teetering down once we hit October into November. We're looking probably maybe like a $35, maybe $30 card after all said and done. I just don't see it holding this 30 close to $40 range. Not really. Europe side, looking at the 20 euro mark. Okay. We could possibly see that on our side. So keep an eye out. Omnimon Zort Defeat alternate art is, holy cow, I remember when this was in its prime. So if we take a look year, that it is less than it was years ago when it was released. I remember its lowest dip was $60, and then it just hit that $80 mark, and it just stuck around there. It is crazy to see this thing be at a $40 range, and it might be a smart time if you guys weren't ever pulling this. Might just be smart to just have this in the back burner into a binder. It is very cheap, and it's very, very nice to have. Looking at 35 euros, no, 34, 43, I would say about $34. Not terrible. Calling from Darkness is another card that has just been on the up climb. I do not expect this with everyone starting to load this back up. Don't pay $50. It's not worth it. It is a gambler's bet. So what I'm nervous about is the BT11's campaign rares. And if this ends up being on this card tanks immediately. Because no longer pre-release stamp is no longer classified. Max rarity, alternate art, foils always take over on the max, in my opinion. So that, I don't see any smart play in investing into this card. Do not waste your money on it. If you have it, maybe sell it if someone is willing to buy it. Or trade it off for the value, but I don't see any value in it to make. It is a ticking time bomb. On the Europe side, it's like $18. I'm not too worried about it. Gaiamon's alternate art from X Record. This card is $31. Man, that buyout really affected it. But to be honest with you, for now, until we get to BT11, Gaiamon's kind of the default backup that you want for your Black War Greymon. Until we get Black War Greymon X Antibody, then that just shifts over to being that. I don't see Gaiamon taking up that many slots. So maybe this drops down to being 25 once that happens, maybe even less. But until then, I wouldn't rush for this unless you are really that much of a collector for Black War Greymon. Looking like 16 euros. So it's about $15. Not terrible. Remember Chimeramon being that overly expensive $36 card? I mean, even going back the year, it was like a $60 card on pre-sales. Now look at it, it's a $30 card. It is still doing the same thing. It's a very powerful card, but less and less decks play it now. The only deck that really consistently plays it, and I'm going to give it credit to, is Jessmon, because Jessmon always wanted to play this. So I don't see any takeaway from this, so let it fall. About 24 euros. This is the alternate art Chimeramon. War Greymon alternate art. This card, remember this being like in the $23 range? Well, it's starting to fall down because it's less competitively buyable. This was really more or less to counteract the Gruumon text and stuff like that. Being able to pop the blocker by effect was huge. We're looking at 24 euros. Then we have Metal Greymon alternate art from Classic Collection. I remember this thing spiking up and being like almost close to $30, if I remember correctly. This thing was expensive. It jumped up to like 32. Now it's starting to taper off and hit in the $20 range, which is fine for this alternate art. I think $20 is kind of acceptable, especially since the set is a little harder to get now. About 15 euros. So a $5 difference between us is not terrible. This is what sparked my interest here. Angewomon's starter deck had a recent buyout situation. It is actually, after these, it is a $5 card. It has 12 listings, but yes, we also have one listing that has 82. Outside of that, not worth it in my opinion, because why spend close to $5 when even on the Europe side it's like 2 cents, where you can get a foil version, alternate art, looking 10 times better for the same price. So if you guys are on the hunt for the starter deck version, pick up the promo, the foiled one, the sparkly one. I don't recommend picking up, starter deck one when this one is obviously the better choice. Looking like $1.50 on the Europe side. Not bad. All Force Digimon has been on the climb before, but now is starting to taper off and start back into the $17 range. I wouldn't be surprised if it starts ticking down a bit once realizing that the deck doesn't really play it much, but we'll have to see what happens later on next week. I'll be posting decks of, tops and stuff like that, and we'll look at if this All Force Digimon is actually being played in the deck or not. So we'll have to see what the gambler's bet is. We're looking at €10, about $10. Renamon alternate art actually saw a recent uptick. We're only at 16 listings, and we are roughly 6 buyouts away before this, buy-ins about roughly being a $25 card. And then slowly after that, there's only 9 listings before this thing can be like a $40 card because justification. So that's just kind of how that's going to go. I don't see anything else too crazy. Expect that to happen sooner than later. About €10 on the Europe side. Follow up with Pride Memory Boost. This card, we already know it has its ups and down moments. Right now, it only has 7 listings left. Right now, it is listed at $30. People did pick it up at the $30 mark. It is a pre-release stamp, and this could see a reprint in BT11 with the campaign rares. So I'm nervous on anything like this. Looking like €10. I don't hate it. Avenged Kidmon. Remember this card spiking like to a $50 card for a hot second? Now it's dragged down a bit. It is still going to be played in any of the, security control decks. Maybe even Loop might try it out. So something just to look at, maybe testing it out. So you might want this because it is the max rarity. If it gets an alternate art, which would be amazing, can be a possibility. So we're looking at 16 right now. So maybe pick up 1 to 2 if you really are dedicated to playing security control or Loop. We're looking like €10 as well. Not terrible. Then we have Demimera from the Winners Pack. Where did it go? So looking at it, it is about $15. Might want to pick it up. The alternate art is actually really cool looking, in my opinion. But outside of that, nothing too crazy. Sama Santane, the Summer 2022 Dash Pack. Thank you, Mario, for making a statement on this earlier. This was not expected, but buyout happened. It is basically bought out. There's only like 3 copies left. And to be honest with you, it's going to start filling in the market again. And don't pick it up. It's only maybe a 2 of in most cases for right now. It's a great card, but I just don't see it worth it. Looking like, on the Europe side, €7. People don't want to hold on to this card. So, just something to think about. Eosmon from Tamer Party Volume 5 is on buyout status as well. There is basically only 8 copies left, and it will become a $25 card. Is it worth it? No, but it is a very short printed thing to get. On the Europe side, about 50 cents though. Next, we have Digimon from the Championship Online Regional Online Participation. This card is on buyout as well. We literally are a $20, $25 card at this point. Just to keep it on your radar, you might want to have 1 to 2 because it is used in Loop. Looking like €7. Not terrible. And then Kotemon is another card that is on buyout status because of it's only got a few copies before this thing becomes a $20 card. We're at 2, 5, 6, 7, 8 cards left, and then boom, gone. And this thing goes nearly double. And it is a harder thing to get because of Tamer Party Pack Volume 5 promos. really wasn't given out as much as any of the other ones. The Tamer Party Packs are a lot harder to get anyway. So just something to keep on your radar. About on the Europe side, looking like $1.20 each. Mega Digimon Fusion from Judge Pack. So my theory is behind this, why this thing all of a sudden spiked, was because of the overarching issue was it was too cheap. At the end of the day, there is no unbanning of this card. This card should not be unbanned in any capacity. The thing is that we're looking at it, $5 card. Most cards that are ticking in those range usually are threatened for buyout. And that is just kind of how that goes. There's not anything else I can say about it. It was just stars aligned, people bought it out. And it's not seeing any compatible play. There's no like, oh, I know it's going to get unbanned. No. That's not happening. Looking like €10. Not terrible. Follow up by Alderman. 11 listings on the pre-release stamp. That is crazy to me. And it's just ticking time bomb before it becomes $15, almost back up to a $20 card. It's very interesting, especially since the deck isn't really doing anything competitively wise. And I don't see the justification on this close buyout. I think it's just more Mario shenanigans because of the whole, red hybrid still so fantastically good. Well, and also because this card is probably going to see play longevity in most stuff. We're looking like €4, a little less. Ryu is another card that you might want to keep on your radar, or maybe pick up a play set or two. If the people start getting, wanting to see spikes happen, this card is probably on that list because it is a very cheap card. And we know that Jesmon's going to get more and more support. And if it gets more support and this card is being useful on top of that, might be a reason why you want to pick it up. So it is the alternate art. There is plenty of listings, but you know how buyouts happen. They're going to hit it like a truck, and this thing's going to go from a $4 card all the way up to a $15 card. So I just don't want to see you guys get hurt from that. Just maybe make sure you have a copy or two on your back burner if you plan on playing Digimon in the future. About €5. Not bad. Matt and Sora, looking at it, there's only 8 listings left, and we're pretty much back to a $10 card, almost bought out completely. So just something to keep on your radar. Looking like €2. Not terrible, like $2. Underworld's Calling, same things happening here. 5 copies left. And this thing will be bought out. And 5 listings left. There is at least a small gatekeeper in 10, but that's going to change real quickly, and people will probably push this up to a $5 to $10 card very easily. So it's just teetering there. Looking like a 87-cent card. And then we'll finish it off with Argomon from Event Pack 2. This card saw a massive spike and is on buyout status as well. And that's just because of how good the card is going to be with Bloom Lord. Being able to play Protect the Bloom Lord and only be able to remove it with options is going to be huge. Looking like €6. I mean, just take this with a grain of salt. So guys, what did you think of the Market Watch? Let me know down in the comments. Hopefully you stay safe, stay healthy, and remember guys, I'm shooting to be the #1 Market Watch guys you guys follow. But without further ado, I'll catch you in the next video. Peace!